I got a call yesterday because I've been hitting pretty hard against the senator, and I got a call telling me to remove a post on my Facebook page. And I said, you know what, have you watched the 5th video? And they're like, no. I said, well, you take a look at the 5th video where they're digging through mutilated body parts of a little boy, and the doctor says, oh, look, it's a boy. Mm-hmm. I said, when you look at that video and you can call me back and tell me to remove my post, then we'll have a discussion. But until then, don't tell me to remove anything. That's the thing is, I've got a pulpit that I can use. It's not big like a president of the United States or anything, but, when somebody... it's one thing to say when you're running for election that, I'm a moderate when it comes to social issues. Well, you know what? BS. When you're voting to keep money going to Planned Parenthood for what they've just got caught doing, that's an extremist on the social issues, and I think people need to be held accountable. And, a lot of people are saying, hey, what's the difference between Senator Kirk and Tammy Duckworth? You're going to get the same vote. So I think that there's a firestorm brewing throughout the entire state of the social conservatives, and I think that unless he, does something differently, he's going to be in some trouble either way, I think. But this definitely does not help his cause for re-election.
Former Congressman Bobby Schilling with us. It's Riley and Scott on WROK. All right, let's talk about that. I don't want to get you in more trouble here, but the Facebook post just says, hey, question, who should primary U.S. Senator Mark Kirk? He, of course, the only Republican to vote against defunding Planned Parenthood, and even a couple of Democrats did cross over and vote to defund Planned Parenthood. There is no challenger right now, Bobby. The only guy making a little bit of noise about it is former Congressman Joe Walsh, who has said he'll decide by Labor Day whether or not to get in the race. But without anyone challenging him to his rights on the conservative side, Mark Kirk has not seen any reason to even nod toward conservatives on a number of these issues, most prominent on this Planned Parenthood vote. So I'll ask you to answer your own question, Bobby. Who should primary Senator Mark Kirk on the Republican side?
I think there's about 5 or 6 people out there that are actually taking a good hard look at it. I know Joe Walsh is. Kyle McCarter is being asked to run. There's several other folks throughout the state. But, I think the big thing is that if there's enough pressure put on Senator Kirk, maybe he would, take a look at the 20-week abortion ban that's going to be coming up. The majority of Democratic women, it's over 50%, are supportive of no abortions after the 20th week when babies can feel pain. Something like that to where he can throw the social conservatives some type of a bone. I think he would have a chance. The key thing you got to remember here is in a presidential election year, they bring out 1.3 million additional voters in the state of Illinois. 1 million of those voters are Democrats. So, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to out-abortion, pro-abortion, Tammy Duckworth. Well, you know what? I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're never going to be able to out-abortion Tammy Duckworth. Mm-hmm. She's one of the most extreme abortionists out there. This is like a satanic cult type thing. When you're taking baby parts and selling them, this is really sick. And this isn't even about abortion, you guys. This is about our humanity and how we treat the most vulnerable amongst us. And that's the thing that's so frustrating to me. But I think you'll see, I think you'll see 3 or 4 people, and whether or not, I've gotten some calls asking me to do it. And, I think that you're going to have to pick somebody that's going to be, have to come from the northern part of the state, somebody that has a good rapport people like. They're not crazy, running things off the edge of the cliff so they can pull in some of the Democratic vote. But, I think if Kirk came around and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to support this, this 20-week ban, the Pain Capable Act, I think that would definitely help his cause. But otherwise, I think you're going to see somebody from the Republican conservative side come through and run a primary against him.
So, Bobby Schilling, you say you've gotten a couple of phone calls. We have to ask, would you consider a primary run against Mark Kirk if the support were there? You felt support were there for a Bobby Schilling run for the U.S. Senate. Is that even in your mind? Are you considering it?
So, the big thing is having the support of the spouse. And, with a presidential year and being down state, it'd be very difficult for me to take it on. I don't want to say I'm completely out, but I'd say the chances of it without having the full support of my spouse would be very difficult for me to make that decision to run.
All right. What about the full support of us, though? Don't we count?
We're 2 votes.
Yeah.
You guys do count. You know, I actually, you guys think this is crazy, but I was actually trying to talk my wife into running because I'll tell you, she'd make one hell of a candidate. She could take Tammy Duckworth on and just, you know, when it's woman to woman, it's a lot different. When you're a guy running against a gal, it's a little bit more difficult, you know, and, you know, she's going to use her military experience and things like that. Well, you know, we've got son in the military. He's an Army Ranger and things like that. So, you know, I think that my wife could really lay the hammer down on her. And plus, she's actually, not to brag, but my wife's pretty darn attractive, and I think she could get a lot of those votes from the guys throughout the state.
You can brag. It's okay.
Go ahead. It's your wife. Feel free to brag. That's a nice way to brag.